everybody. Once again, it's time to go out to the left coast, out to Los Angeles, California, and talk with Michael Snyder, who's going to tell you all about the entertainment coming up this weekend. Hi, Michael. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Alex. How you doing, buddy?
Didn't you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't you see me? Hey, Michael, I said, and then you didn't say anything. So.
Well, come on. I'm here. I'm here. I'm out here. I'm holding down the fort. The fort being Hollywood, land of dreams and opportunities. How you doing?
I'm here in New York, the dream of the land of no opportunity at all. So
where the dream dies?
Where the dream dies, and
the dream dies out here too. Trust me. And sometimes the dream is a nightmare. Let's take, for instance, the rather sweet-natured character of Kevin James. And I only bring this up because the big release, honestly, the big release this weekend is that's horrible. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. And they haven't shown us Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. There have been no critic screenings. I can't imagine why, since Paul Blart Mall Cop the First was one of the great landmarks in cinema comedy. No, actually, it was horrible. I can't believe they did show us that one. Maybe they learned their lesson. He is a likable enough guy, but in this one, I think Paul goes to Vegas. He takes time off of working as a mall cop. I can't even. I'm just glad I didn't have to see it. Let's put it that way. But that's the big release. Everything else will surely pale by comparison. Wait, True Story opens this weekend, and it's actually based on a true story about truth in stories, I might add. It is a docudrama of sorts about the New York Times reporter Michael Finkel, who apparently fudged some facts and had it blow up in his face after a string of very successful and acclaimed articles for the Times. And he gets the boot, essentially. And while this is happening, an accused killer is revealed to have been passing himself off as Finkel while on a Mexican getaway. And this guy is picked up. He's accused of murder, and he probably did it, but for some reason Finkel decides to seek him out and find out why he did what he did. And maybe it's the fact that James Franco plays the killer and Jonah Hill plays the investigative reporter, and I have a hard time separating all the work they've done before from what they are doing up on screen. But that was a sour note for me. On the other hand, even though this script was co-written by Finkel himself from his book, it just kind of ends up being very puzzling. I mean, this is an interesting story, and it's ostensibly a true story. And one of the things Finkel's trying to do in the context of his interaction with Christian Longo, the accused killer, is find out the truth of what Longo did. Did he really kill his family, essentially? It's very intriguing on a lot of levels, but there's odd choices regarding the way Franco plays the killer, and obviously I can't escape Jonah Hill being Jonah Hill. Despite the acknowledgement that the story is true, again, I'm really puzzled about the way it plays out on screen. Like, the third act was like, directed by a guy named Rupert Gould, who co-wrote the thing. It just didn't work for me. And so I'll say I'll pass on this story.
This is one that girlfriend has been wanting to see and says, we've got to go see this and everything. And I said, that doesn't interest me because,
Well, you know what? We like to say sometimes, you and I, if something's going to work on video as well as it works on the big screen, do you really need to go to the theater to see it? In a case like this, I would wait. She
says,
story, you might want to read the book.
She says, well, I just want to get out. And I go, well, yeah, but getting out to go see a movie today is a $50 investment for us. It's not cheap any longer.
No. Look, I am a big fan of going to the movies, and I enjoy the experience, but there are films that are so enhanced by going to the theater, and yet at the same time, as has been said time and time again, the new high-def screens, in your home, you get something that's 50-plus inches.
I've got 3D here,
Right. I mean, even Ex Machina, which is maybe one of my favorite films of the year so far, it's going to be fine at home on a system like that. But it is great to see a movie like that in the theater. And coming up soon, Avengers: Age of Ultron. I want to get the full immersive experience. I just saw the Star Wars Force Awakens trailer. That's going to be something I want to see on the big screen. The sci-fi stuff.
I have no desire to see the new Star Wars film.
I do. Well, I'm going to have to.
It's being done by J.J. Abrams. It's going to suck.
It's possible that he's going to cross over with
Star
Trek.
It's going to be a complete piece of manufactured crap.
Well, that's the spirit. Look, say what you will. J.J. Abrams does co-produce Person of Interest on CBS.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean shit to me because I didn't watch that show. So.
Oh, the show is wonderful. Anyway, moving on to movies. Unfriended, so much better than the more high-toned true story, and it must have been made for four figures. I am not joking. Unfriended is about cyberbullying and how it results in the suicide of a high school student. And this girl is gone, and the people who knew her are having a little Skype kind of meeting, a little Skype multiple chat, whatever you want to call these things, and things start going haywire with their computers. Apparently, her spirit, or something like her spirit, or something supernatural, has taken a hold of their computers. And I have to say, all you see for the whole 80-minute running time of this film is a computer screen, a girl's computer screen, and with the various Skype windows. And she goes to Facebook and looks up her late friend's Facebook account. She goes to the Memorial Facebook page. They go to Instagram. All these brands are used to great effect. It's the bare minimum for visuals, but it works as one of those classic slasher horror movies in the manner of the Halloween, Freddy, and Friday the 13th films, because this thing is coming after these people and challenging them to online games and stuff. I'm totally impressed. And it's so satisfying to see smug, smirky teenagers get what's coming to them. And again, there's the undercurrent of about, cyberbullying. And I thought, okay, good for Lee Van Gabriades, or whatever the guy's or woman's name is who directed it, because it did work for me. And again, they say from the producers of Paranormal Activity, blah, blah, blah. Well, they know how to make these things and make them effective on a tiny, tiny budget. And this is a time when the actual circumstance of the film lends itself to the approach they took. And again, I was surprised at how good the thing was. 5 to 7 is the movie I can say unequivocally, I really, truly enjoyed this movie. It's been around for a week or two. It's probably going to go into streaming, VOD, DVD, and what have you soon. But it's about a romance, and a romance that seems legit. A young would-be writer, 20-something, in Manhattan, is wandering around. He's kind of aimless. Things aren't working perfectly for him. And he sees a beautiful older woman across the street and strikes up a conversation on a whim, and they fall for one another. And the writer is played by Anton Yelchin, who actually is in one of J.J. Abrams' properties, the Star Trek movies, as Chekhov, and has done a lot of good work, like opposite Felicity Jones, in another really wonderful romance called Like Crazy. And here he's kind of a little in over his head, but he's such a decent, nice guy. And the woman is this beautiful French wife of a diplomat. And the title, 5 to 7, refers to the 2 hours a day when she and her husband give one another leave to have extramarital affairs. The woman's played by Berenice Marlowe from Skyfall. She was one of the Bond girls in the Daniel Craig run of James Bond movies. And it really, she gives a fantastic performance. Rich, wonderful, engaging. And Frank Langella and Glenn Close play the young man's parents. And there's also, the mistress of the husband, played by Olivia Thirlby. The husband's played by Lambert Wilson. They really all deliver their A game. Written and directed by Victor Levin. I thought 5 to 7 was just totally charming. Really cleverly written and cleverly executed. And thank goodness for films like this that are made for grown-ups, because otherwise I might despair. I really might. What do you got in video? What are you watching?
You might despair, and then you say, "I can hardly wait for Avengers. I can hardly wait for Star Wars." Oh, but I'm glad they're finally making films for adults.
I love the Avengers. The Marvel
that
stuff.
last Avengers film sucked.
Yeah, oh boy, you are so wrong.
No, no. I've watched it twice already, and it never gets better.
Wow, two times of suckage. How do you like the new Daredevil series?
I thought it was bliss. I thought it was wonderful.
Really?
Yes.
So there you go. It's all part of the Marvel universe.
Couldn't get girlfriend to watch it, but I loved when I watched the first episode, I went, I'll see. By the time I got to the third episode, I was hooked. It's just so well done, and you want to talk about something for adults? It's for adults.
Well, truth be told, it's part of that whole Avengers initiative, if you will. All the Marvel Cinematic Universe linked up with those TV shows like Agent Carter and such. I really enjoyed the first Avengers film.
Well, the Daredevil is going to be linked in with the three other series that they're going to do, and they're all about Hell's Kitchen.
Right, a.k.a. Jessica Jones. She's a former superhero turned private investigator. That's going to feature the girl from Apartment 23. Don't trust the bitch in Apartment 23. Yeah. Kristen Ritter, and as her nemesis, David Tennant from Doctor Who and Broadchurch. So that's going to be fun. And then there's Luke Cage and Power Man, all of which, like you said, are going to link together and are all basically built around the seedy side.
And then they're going to do a mini-series, a fifth thing, a mini-series, in which all of them are going to be together. And
it's linked to the grander Marvel properties, including S.H.I.E.L.D., but they won't be shoving that at you, so they can stand alone. If, like you're saying, you can't stand something like the Avengers, but you're loving Daredevil, you're in great shape. Watch Daredevil. Watch these shorts.
Yeah.
So that's happening. Game of Thrones is back, and despite the leakage of episodes, I'm going to go through it with deliberation week after week. I'm not going to bother with the whatever's floating around on the internet, because I want to actually savor this. And the complex storylines, which have put some people off, I just revel in that. So that's exciting. Orphan Black is back this weekend with Tatiana Maslany, shockingly ignored by Emmy voters for her first two runs as the multiple clone characters on Orphan Black. The bravura performance by a young actress. And a couple other things are on the way, too, I think. And Silicon Valley started, as we said last week, as did Veep. Any take on those returning shows?
Well, Silicon Valley was mediocre, and Veep wasn't as good as it has been, and Mad Men is just downright boring.
Oh.
So,
well,
yeah, I mean, it's amazing how boring it is. I mean, we're going to watch all the Mad Men because we've gotten this far. We may as well finish it off, but, geez,
Well, speaking of J.J. Abrams, I'm afraid at the end of Mad Men, you find out that he's actually trapped on an island that is purgatory.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway,
maybe.
Is that it?
That's it, buddy.
That's it? Okay,
that's all I can stomach this week.
Okay, where can they find you? Where can they find you?
I'm on Twitter at Culture Blast. Culture Blaster, excuse me. I don't even know my own handle. That's because I watched Unfriended, and I'm afraid to go on Twitter now. And Facebook, the Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page. There you have it.
Thank you very much, Michael. We'll talk to you next week.
You bet.
And that's it. Stay tuned for more wonderful programs here on GabNet, a tune-in partner.